Hi guys, I hope you're well and welcome back to the lesson at Let's Love T-Line Together. Today we have a case titled Police Officer Stands Trial over Police Brutality. So police officer stands trial over police brutality. We're working at 80 words per minute. Disclaimer, I've been doing so much shorthand teaching that my tablet is a little bit worse for wear. Therefore, it sometimes disconnects, solely temporary problem. You hear some beeping here and there, that's the reason why. A new one is on its way. So the title of this, let's check it back. So police officer, P for police and then CR. Stands is STNDS. Trial is TR blend in L. O indicator on top of the next word. So over police. Brutality is a good outline. It's quite a long one though. We're using the BR rule. So we put the T inside and with the R, we've got brutal. With and with litty upwards L, so brutality. So police officer stands trial over police brutality is a title. Now, as usual, if you're used to this format of my lessons, we do a quick quiz first on common words and groups. I'll give you time to drill them and then we get into the paper pretty much straight away. Okay, so here's a list of outlines for you to write. So pen's ready, let's go. Today, where, an example, evidence, members of the jury, guilty, in the town, leave the, you will see, he was, with the, Mr, which, there was, absolutely, such, to be, therefore, should not be, of course, there are, every. Okay, so let's check them back. So today is T followed by the D. Where is a long W on the T line? Now, the quickest way to write an example is A, angle the N and cross up with the X. This also says annex, but of course in context you would be safe. To write them separately, it look like this. We'd have an, then we'd have X, pulse, quite long. So try and get used to this version. Then we have evidence as a B under your writing line. Members of the jury is MMS for members, JI, normal size ends there. Guilty is GI. You should know those outlines if you've been following this series. In the town is INH of the, TWN falling down low. It could say in the down, again we've known context. Leave the is LV, H of the. So notice how often we reduce this just the H to make the speed. Next we have you will see, we've got U, WL, SE. It's not wrong to start U on the writing line, but this makes best use of space in my opinion. Then we have he was, so HWS. That should sit nicely just on the writing line. Apologies. He was. With the WI for with, special outline, extend down to make it with the. A long M, so MR blend for Mr, dashes below for proper noun, which is WC on the T line. There was should be a long T for THR and then WS for was. Absolutely, so absolute is just ABS, like abs. Add the I to make it absolutely. To remember that one, when you're drilling it, just think absy, absy, absy. Such is S and C on the T line. Next, apologies guys, my writing is extremely squiggly today. 1 second. I get so excited that I write too fast and I'm not making the exact right circle there. So such as SC, to be, ideally, I want to bring the B over, not drop down, because this is faster. Therefore is TH and FR, special outline, nice one. Should not, so we've got longhand S, D for should, and T, so just let that fall down, the T falls down. Not to be is NT, flip the B over again rather than drop down to make the speed. Of is O indicator on the T line, then CRS for course, of course. There are long T for there, and we can go up with the R, 2 separate words. And every is just the E indicator. Okay, so truth is yours. You can pause me and drill them and then return for dictation. Otherwise, we're going to carry on. So title of the exam is here, while the paper is here, called Police Officer Stands Trial over Police Brutality. Okay, so here is your title, and this is going to be read out at 80 words a minute. Remember that I will go over the outlines after. Always head over to the SoundCloud link to listen to it again if you need to. Okay, so quick drill the title, let's give this a go. Good luck. Police officer stands trial over police brutality. Police officer stands trial over police brutality. Police officer stands trial over police brutality. Okay, so we've got our pens ready, court reporting heads on, let's give it a go. We've got 2 minutes at 80. Try and please use those word groupings as I read them out. It'll really help to increase your speed. Okay, ready? Good luck. Today, we will hear a case where a person in power abused just that. The verdict today should set an example. I hope that after hearing the evidence presented to you, members of the jury, you will give the verdict of guilty. Police Officer Jones was on duty in the town when he approached a group of teenagers playing football and instructed them with no good reason to leave the open grassy area. They refused and asked why they had to leave. You will see footage showing Mr. Jones grabbing a young boy by his shirt with such force that he started to choke. When another boy tried to intervene, he was met with the fist of Mr. Jones, which winded him. There was absolutely no reason for such force to be used, and Mr. Jones should therefore be held fully accountable. Police brutality should not and will not be tolerated. Of course, there are two sides to every story. Okay, difficult stuff. So let's have a look at outlines there and take a nice deep breath. It was tough, that was. So we have today, we will hear. So we've got today, conjoin we will hear a case where a person, PRSN, long outline persons, in as IN, PWR for power, Abused is AB. We've got the S and the D. You have to go round and round with that one. It's quite an awkward outline. Just that. JST for just, and that is a special outline. That was sentence 1. The verdict today, so I've got the verdict is VRDCD, so dish during the D after R, remember. Today. Should is longhand S and D. Set an example, and you can do the annex there, the shortcut. We can group I hope. We keep the O in hope, so it's clearer to read back. That after is a full A. Hearing, HR-ing. The evidence, my ing's a little bit big there, apologies. Evidence is a B&D writing line as discussed. Presented, so we've got the PR theory now. We can intersect the SNTD, or if it's too fiddly for you, pop it just next to presented to you. Members of the jury, that was a nice one. Takes a little bit of drilling, but do try and get used to that one, particularly if you follow this series, because it comes up loads and use it quite often. Probably every paper almost. You will give the verdict of guilty. So again, we've got you will, join together. Give is GV. The VRDCT, O and T line for of, and guilty is GI, end of sentence. Then we have Police Officer Jones was on duty in the town. I'm just going to move that up slightly. Okay, so Police Officer Jones, JNS for Jones, was on his ON blend, DTI for duty in the town as discussed in the questions. When he approached a group, you can keep the H in when or WN blend is okay as well. So option 1, option 2. He approached is again your A PR theory, C, H and D. You can't put the ch in here, it gets too messy, so you just disjoin there. So approached. A group, so we've got A indicator. Group is G, put the P through for your R principle with GR. Then we have of teenagers, that would be TN, GRS. Try and come down a bit lower than T lines and G puts your line, teenagers. Playing football, that's PL blend, A and ing. My shortcut football, I just put FB. You can also do down with FTBL. But as you can see, that's quite a bit longer. Playing football and instructed, so I've got and. So instructed there, when we have a word beginning I and S, we can omit the N, so it becomes ISTRCTD, instructed. Them is THM, with no good reason, where the stuff is and the T line, no as NO, reason is RSN. To leave, the, so we've got T for 2, LV for leave, H of the. Open is O, indicated PN. Grassy is quite a hard one, rather than just in grassy area. So we've got G, R, S, and I. Now, in theory, when we have G followed by R, we intersect and omit the letter R. So for example, in group, we omit the R and put the P through. Now for grassy, it'd be a bit awkward to put the S inside and the I, it'd be quite fiddly. So if the R principle makes outline more difficult to write, you can not use it, which is quite rare, but it does happen here and there where it makes it pretty tricky to write. Therefore, you can keep the R in. So therefore, we'd have the R in grassy. Area is your 2 A's intersected. Next, we have they refused and asked why they had to leave. So we've got they. Refused R, F blend, S, and then D. They refuse, and asked is A, S, C, D rather than a K. Y is W, H, I. They. Had is H, D. T for two, and leave is LV, end of sentence. Okay, it's quite hard that. So just to go back over, Police Officer Jones was on duty in the town when he approached a group of teenagers playing football and instructed them with no, oh, I've missed out, good, with no good reason. One moment. Yes, just pop good here. I'm glad that I read that back over. So good is GD. Good reason to leave the open grassy area. They refused and asked why they had to leave. Okay, fabulous. So let's just look at the next section. I do go over this quite quick. You can always pause and make notes as I go through. So that was minute 1. Then we have, you will see footage. We've got U, W, L, S, E. Downwards F before a T in footage plus the G. Showing is longhand S, W, ing. Mr. is that long M. Jones is J, N, S. Grabbing. Now, another example where, in my opinion, to put the B inside there is a little bit fiddly. I would tend to keep the R in. So G, R, B, ing, grabbing. A young boy, so young is Y and disjoint U for ung. Boy is B and Y for I. By is B-I. His is H in the direction of I indicator. By his. Shirt is longhand S, R and T. With is W-I on the T line. Then we have with such force, SC for such force, FRC. That he started to choke, so I've got that, H for he, STRTD for started, so that H should be straight, started to choke. I used to always joke with my students and say, I can write shorthand, but I can't draw a straight line when I do really long lines on the board. So we've got here, you will see footage showing Mr. Jones grabbing a young boy by his shirt with such force that he started to choke. Then we have when another boy, so we've got when, another is A-N long T, boy is B and then the Y, boy. When another boy, tried is T, R and D, intervenes, so I omit the N, we have I-N-T, so we're going to have I, T, R, V and then N, intervenes, quite a tricky outline. He was met with the fist, so he was should be grouped with the fist would be downwards F, S, T. A little bit more space needed. So with the fist, erase that line. Of Mr. Jones, which winded him. So we've got of, long N for Mr. Jones is J, N, S. Which is WC on the T line. Winded should be W, N, D, D. And him is HM. CWM blend there with winded. There was absolutely no reason for such force to be used. So there was should be grouped. We had absolutely in the warm-up questions. No is NO. RSN is reason. For is FR. Such is SC on the T line. For should be FR blend in C. 2B should be grouped. Used is USD. And Mr. is MR. Jones is JNS, which you've had. Should, longhand S and D. Therefore, THFR special. Be held, so B is just a B. H upwards L and D for held. Fully is FLI. Accountable is a hard one. That's A, CM blend T and disjoint A for able. So there we have, there was absolutely no reason for such force to be used, and Mr. Jones should therefore be held fully accountable. Okay, 2 more sentences to go. We have police brutality should not and will not be tolerated. So that was helpful because we would have drilled that hopefully from the title. So police brutality should not, longhand S, D and T, 2 words put together. and we've got will not be tolerated. Tolerated is a good outline. We've got a T-LR blend, TD. I've not written that one many times, to be honest. There's many years I've been doing shorthand, but yeah, there we go, quite a new one. Tolerated. Of course, there are two sides to every story. So, of course, O and the T line are indicating CRS. We've got there and R joined. 2, I like to do a T for 2 for the number 2. You can circle the digit if you want to. Side should be SDS. T for 2, E for every, and story is S, T, R, and I. So we had police brutality should not and will not be tolerated. Of course, there are two sides to every story. So I wonder what Mr. Jones's side is. Will we find out? Who knows? So hopefully you found that helpful. You can always pause and drill, and you can spend a good hour using this lesson if you pause certain sections and practice them again, and then go back and perhaps play the audio again. In addition to that, it's all good stuff. So anything you need, get in touch via email. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you again in 2 weeks' time for another court report. Thank you.